Hey there folks, Wrel here. This is technically the weekly update for August 19th, 2014, but we're primarily going to be recapping what I experienced at SOE Live, which doesn't include Landmark, it doesn't include EverQuest or DCUO stuff. That said, this episode is going to be longer than usual, but hopefully you'll find something interesting in it. So since last Wednesday, I've been at SOE Live in Las Vegas, and the convention this year felt about like twice as big as it was last year, and it was a huge change from the year before it. Interesting things worth mentioning are that Empire-specific buggies are on the way, probably not anytime soon, but the groundwork has already been laid. They're going to be 4-man vehicles and very different based on your faction, and that's the Thresher for the VS, the Marauder for the TR, and the Enforcer for the NC. In fact, the reason why your Vanguard and Reavers look different is actually due to optimization. It's so that the new Enforcer buggy, which is the NC one, can use the same exact textures without having to add new assets to the game, and that's a bigger deal than you'd probably imagine. The Flash, the Harasser, the Lightning, and the Sunderer are all receiving new models, and these new models do not replace the old ones, but will instead be purchasable cosmetic options. So you'd literally purchase the new Sunderer or the new Lightning, and then you could potentially add new cosmetic options on top of that to customize it further. It also looks like infantry and max units will be getting these new sleeker looking options as well. I think it was actually mentioned that the Flash and the Harasser alternate models are targeted to be in the game by the end of the year. And do remember that these are purely cosmetic changes. The dimensions and functionality should still be the same, but looking at some of the models they showed, I'm kind of curious if the hitboxes are actually going to get changed a bit. Also, I had asked about scopes and red dots and such being misaligned and how difficult a task it would be to fix them, and the answer I got is that the fix is being worked on and that they're even adding new functionality with parallax to the red dots. So red dots are actually going to function the way that they would in real life. Once that system is in place, you're likely to see it opened up to Player Studio to have custom reticules and scopes, which has been kind of referenced in the past. There's also a new decal system being worked on that will allow you to place decals in a number of different places on your vehicles, not anywhere you want, but like predefined locations, and potentially for your infantry classes in the future as well. They said that decal visibility is still not where they want it to be on the composite armors either, so they're looking at ways to improve that. They've also mentioned that there are no plans for placing multiple different decals on your character. It's always going to be one type of decal. A lot of this stuff was mentioned in the art panel, which didn't get a whole lot of attendance, so you probably haven't heard much about these bits and pieces so far. PlanetSide 2 on PlayStation 4 is looking pretty good. The performance was solid with some minor hitching here and there, and there were some graphical glitches that were attributed to the new decal system, I believe. It basically gave people glowy arms and stuff, but you know, that's whatever, it's more entertaining than anything else. I started getting the hang of the controls after a while, but we were still getting slaughtered by people on the public test server as they were playing on PC, and in case you're curious, PlayStation 4 and PC servers are going to be separate. Trying to be precise with the halberd while a harasser is moving was extremely difficult. I think that's going to be a major challenge to overcome. They don't really have a whole lot of aim assist. They said they did, but I really wasn't feeling it. They'll probably need to build in a sort of sensitivity clutch when trying to aim from a turret specifically, because right now I can't see people enjoying that experience in a moving vehicle. On the test environment, there were moving clouds, which is not a bug, and that should make its way to the PC version, but the skybox itself was bugged, a really cool bug. All of the parts that were supposed to be light were actually dark, and all the parts that were supposed to be dark were actually light. So you got this sort of dark, clouded sky that made it seem that like there was a storm brewing, added a real sense of, made it real ominous, you know, felt more alien, felt a bit more warlike. And what's funny is that a lot of people really like the bug, so hopefully that'll actually get changed to the default armor sky on live. But they do need to actually fix the bug first because the sky is simply not rendering the way that it should, but after that Trammell said that it's a possibility. The UI looks good, it's sleek, it's easy to use, it's relatively quick for being on a console, and the only thing that really takes time is when you're trying to set up your loadouts and customize your characters and weapons. But selection of the loadouts themselves is pretty fluid once you've got the keys down. One thing that I would like to see is a clearer presentation for how you purchase an item though. It feels like there's a lack of conveyance right now, but that could just be because it's a work in progress. Getting back to performance though, the demo that they had set up was it was a base on Amish, I can't remember exactly which, it was Crux, Mining something or another maybe, and it was just 3 factions with invincible Sunderers or spawn points, and they just went at it over and over. And it was not a huge battle, so performance may, take a huge dive in a massive battle. I mean, who knows? And the last thing I want to mention about PS2 on the PS4 is that there was no release date announced. Other noteworthy PlanetSide 2 insights are that the cert list is coming back, so I think people will be glad to hear that. One thing that I personally found really interesting, I'm not actually sure if I'm supposed to be sharing this or not, but nickel and dime purchases, like weapon attachments and implant packs, are actually some of the biggest revenue earners in PlanetSide 2, and hearing that completely turned my perceptions on their head, as like I was guessing that it was going to be helmets, I was guessing that it was going to be weapons, but evidently though, the Player Studio stuff is only a drop in the bucket compared to the other things that they're selling. That said, let's talk a little bit, just a little bit, about H1Z1. And aside from some bugginess, the game felt very solid, very playable, and I'm looking forward to it coming to beta. It won't end up on this channel, but it will probably receive some attention from the casual channel and streaming from time to time. The interface was very similar, it's easy to navigate, and so is the world. Gunplay is nothing like a normal first-person shooter where you can just run and gun and wreck shop. It's much more realistic, ammo is severely limited, and your aim matters much more. Zombies felt a bit weak, wolves were a legitimate threat, and bears were extremely dangerous. But the biggest threat is just being whittled down over time. Nighttime felt like nighttime, and you need a flashlight, especially indoors, and there were actually problems with the doors not opening properly, and also problems with zombies and bears getting stuck in things and just having techno dance parties outside. Hit detection also left something to be desired when it came to attacking other players with melee weapons. And the crafting system was, it was simple, it was straightforward. Learning how to make new items was very easy, and managing your inventory was easy and meaningful as well. I didn't get to check out any of the H1Z1 panels, but it didn't seem like there was a release date that had been announced just yet. As far as some of the community stuff goes, special thanks to Torx, Derringer, and Louis for putting together and running the Laser Clash tournament. It was a lot of fun, it was exhausting, and everyone except for Lou and Peepers got the crap kicked out of them, because it turns out that Lou and Peepers used to play laser tag professionally, and they were just wrecking shop on us all day long. It was really, really embarrassing. But like I said, it was lots and lots of fun, and so thanks again for putting that together. I also got to ride a mechanical bull for the first time at the PBR, and I did pretty well, lasted longer than most people, and suddenly the bandana looks like it makes sense, so there's that. Also, someone mentioned on Twitter a long time ago, I can't remember who, but they said that I should challenge Tramel Ray Isaac, the senior art director of PlanetSide 2, to a push-up contest. So I did, and at the dev brunch, we duked it out. So the links to both of those clips are in the video description if you're interested. Really funny, good times. And let's see, what else? During the Grand Banquet, the Lost Lenore did some mind-blowing Heavy Assault cosplay and took Best in Show, which is awesome, it's very well deserved. And if you're interested in seeing more cosplay from her or commissioning her to do some for you, she does have a Facebook page that's linked in the description as well. Lastly, very last thing, is Tox5, Blue, Gums, Clipto from Iron Wolves, and Jama from No Nonsense Gamers, and myself. We all participated in the Ultimate Empire Showdown at SOE Live. We did very well, but the tournament was jacked up, and the thing started 2 hours late, so the scoring system had to be changed in a way that it was never intended to be, and that was actually unbeknownst to us and a bunch of other teams as well. And if you had that knowledge, it was such a huge shift in strategy that we were just robbed really hard. There was no reason that we shouldn't have went up against Future Crew or Dawson Fall, and I'm not going to go into it too much because there was a lot of technical problems to the point where the tournament was on the brink of just being called off. That's how bad it was. But yeah, it was still a good time, if you got to participate. It still gave me a chance to watch some of these upper level players work, and it actually helped me reassess where I stand among them, so that's probably the most useful thing I got out of it. Lastly, I just want to give a big thank you to all the people who decided to stop me in the hallway and say hello, or to the people who let me tag along for lunch or whatever the case. You all know who you are, and I look forward to seeing you again next year. Hopefully something in here piqued your interest, be it the Empire-specific buggies, or the vehicle cosmetics, or the PS4 update, or just knowing that the certification list is going to be making a comeback. But that said, if this video has been interesting, helpful, or entertaining, please feel free to like, subscribe, tell your friends about the channel. Thanks very much, folks. We're all signing off.
Generator critical.
We close in on victory.
Swapping banner. Cover me.
Grenade out! Hostile light assault. Enemy light assault in the area.
The facility is secure. Excellent work.
Generator stabilized. Shield generator critical.
Placing battery. Hostile light assault. Enemy neutralized. Eyes on hostile light assault. I am in your debt. You have it, battery? Visual on fire. Do you have spare batteries? I require more batteries.
I'll get you.